And here we are, another episode of Arrays of Living. It's a guest episode. I love my guest episodes. And this episode is titled Sustaining a Holistic Lifestyle. And we're going to talk about that with our guest. And I want to make sure I say the last name because I sometimes mess this up. So it's Alicia Mazari-Andersen. I think I got it. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Alicia to introduce herself and we'll get the discussion going. Alicia, thank you for being on the show. It's a pleasure. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you, Jen. It's an honor being here. My name is Alicia Mazari-Andersen. I'm originally from Mexico, although I have lived in Canada for over 36 years. And I have been a higher education professor for about 25 years, teaching all kinds of biology courses. But about 12 years ago, I was waiting for my wonder job at the university and it didn't happen. So I decided to change careers and I did a diploma in holistic nutrition. And I was so excited about it that I completed it in 10 months instead of 2 years. My husband thought I was crazy. I'm like, no, I'll be done by Christmas. And sure enough, I was done before Christmas. So anyway, my journey took me to meet somebody here in Canada who had written a book called Overweight Kids in a Toothpick World. Now, we know that name probably is not the best name right now. But anyway, she took me into understanding or getting into teaching kids. And so we created a program together called Kids in Balance, which has taken me to create a more fun course, online course called Happy Healthy Kids Adventure. And so that's why you see me here with my vegetables on the back. Now, because I'm bilingual, our programs are both in English and in Spanish.
Awesome.
So when we are creating a healthy lifestyle, as you mentioned, right, it's never too early to start. It's never too late to start. The best time, as they say, what was the best time to plant a tree was about 20 years ago. And what is the next best time? It's today. Because without our health and without really having a healthy lifestyle, what else do we have? Doesn't matter how much money in the world you have. Doesn't matter how much you travel. Doesn't matter if you have the latest Tesla in your driveway or the most beautiful house. Without your health, we don't get anywhere. One of the things that inspired me is the fact that I don't know if you know, but my home country, Mexico, is the number one country with obese children in the world.
I did not know that.
And that kills me every time I say it. And why is that? Because of the change that has occurred over the years in the food we put in our mouths, the food quality and quantity of that, the food we grow. Right. And being a biologist and knowing and being connected, being a biologist and a botanist, being connected to the earth, being connected on propagating plants and understanding plant physiology and all that stuff, it's important for me for kids to understand that if you start early, it's actually not a big deal. Actually, it's a lot easier. And now that my kids have moved out, what did they take with them? Well, they took all these healthy principles, and it's amazing. I go to their houses, I open their fridge, and it's like, oh, this is a copy of mine. It's so cool. So anyway,
so Alicia, how do you then explain holistic lifestyle? I understand healthy, but what is holistic lifestyle? I think our audience might have a hard time connecting the dots.
Yes,
so maybe
absolutely.
You can do that for us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, holistic means whole. You cannot separate all your lifestyle. It's not just what you eat. Mm-hmm. It's the whole. It's like you're looking at your house. Imagine that your body is a vehicle,
mm-hmm.
right?
It's a temple from my perspective.
And so when we talk about holistic, you need to talk about everything, the mind, the gut, everything, your eyes, everything, like if you take care of your car, if you put gas and oil and make sure you have, air in your tires and everything is working, because what will happen when your car doesn't work, you're going to have a fit in the morning. It's like, oh, how am I going to get there?
Yeah.
So same idea. Your body is like a vehicle. You were born with it, you will die. We are all going to be born. We were born, we will all die. There's no other thing. But in the meantime, how do you take care of it? So holistic means taking care of what you eat, how you move. Moving your body is extremely important. How you sleep. And of course, sleep has changed so much, in the last decade, I would say, more than ever. Okay. How you deal with stress. How do you hydrate? What is your mindset? Like, what is your attitude towards do I or don't I do, what I'm supposed to do? What makes you actually wake up every morning and say, hey, I have a purpose? You know what I mean? And probably you, Jen, are like that, But
Oh yeah, I'm up at 3 and 4 in the morning every morning. So trust me, I get up like pumped to see the sunrise and just really get that quiet moment to regenerate, to set my day, my intentions, my mindset. That's my kind of morning.
Yeah. And when you think about kids, it's like, how do kids wake up? They wake up without an alarm. They wake up full of energy, right? They wake up, if they rested, and if they rested properly, they will wake up full of life. I love waking up like when I was a kid, with a purpose, with what is my call, And so holistic means you need to take care of all these areas in your life. You cannot just say, oh, I eat perfect, and then don't move through the day.
Yeah.
Or do so much exercise that you cannot sleep. Or, as you say, don't have time for you, don't connect with you. Who are you?
Yeah.
Because who are you? When you find out who you are, it's a completely different game altogether, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you have to, like, when it comes to things that I find interesting, and I know someone like this that does not like exercise, never did, never will. But then how do you still fill your body and address your body image if you don't like it? If you genuinely don't like exercise, what would you then suggest as a way for someone like that to look after their body?
Well, that's funny you asked that, because I never exercised when I was younger. My parents were all about the academics and all about the good marks, but exercise was not our priority. You know what? Number one, try as many things as you can to see what you enjoy doing. Whatever movement, and that's why I call movement instead of exercise.
Yeah.
Whatever movement you do during the day, you need to love it.
Yes.
Love it to the point that the day that you don't do it, you miss it. And I have changed over time in what I love doing. And I found out I love walking. Walking to me is a meditation because I connect with me. When I go for walks, my cell phone stays at home. I don't take pictures. If there's a nice sunset, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I am present.
Oh, we're kindred spirits there, Alicia. But here's the interesting thing. I'll give you a really quick thing. When I started, when I was younger, I was into high impact, half marathons, blah, 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 blah. And people would say, just walk, right? And I'd be like, walk? No, I need high impact. Then when I had one of my pregnancies was a twin pregnancy. So I gained a lot of weight and I had a lot of weight to lose. It was the biggest I'd ever been in my life. And so because I had twin and another child that was a year apart, there were actually 3. So those big push carts that you have for jogging? That's how I ended up getting one of those. And we would then walk because I could only jog so much. And then we would walk. And that's how I came to love walking and realize it's just as impactful as running.
Absolutely.
And I lost all my weight from walking. Long time, they'll walk an hour, you know what I mean? But
oh yeah.
To this day, it's now one of my favorite exercises is to walk. I can walk for 2 hours, 3 hours straight. I will not complain.
I would love to be close to you.
I would love. I love it. I mean, I just take in the surroundings. I walk by water. I look for the birds. Like it's just a complete spa moment for me.
Yeah,
it really is. So but
it is that just find what you love for movement, and if your kids also try. it's trial and error. I mean, I remember when my son was younger, it's like, we tried soccer. No, mom, I don't like it. We tried swimming. No, I don't like it. We tried all of these things. I mean, there was no way he was going to even play hockey, you know? His dad was like, I played hockey. He should play hockey. I'm like, he cannot even skate. Don't force him to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, we finally found out that he loved basketball. And so the day he missed basketball, he was not happy.
Right.
And the whole idea is find what you love doing. Doesn't matter what it is, but you need to be able to move your body all the time. Like even going to a gym, it's not the same going to a gym for an hour in the morning than moving your body, I don't know, every hour, every 2 hours, go for a 5-minute walk and come back. It's a lot different.
Yes.
And also that will help you sleep better. If you don't move your body, you need to listen to your body. If you are not sleeping, what is causing the not sleeping? Is it stress? The best way of getting rid of stress, guess what it is? Movement.
Movement, yeah.
You know, and so anyway, so that's why when I talk about holistic, holistic is like, and hydration. How much water are you drinking? What is the quality of the food you're putting in your mouth? All of this stuff, right? So anyway.
And we got to get away from, because I'm like that. Like what I put in my body, I really, really care about. And then you get labeled as being a picky eater. Have you ever had that? Where they go, oh, she's picky. And I'm like, I'm not picky. I'm just careful what goes in.
I deal with picky eaters a lot. I deal with kids that are picky eaters, but also the parents are picky eaters. I was a picky eater when I was a kid.
I know, but I just don't like the labels. Not that you're picky, you're careful what you put in your mouth.
Yes. But when you learn how to eat, when you learn what is in the food supply, when you learn that, you know, where is the sugar hiding? I talk a lot about this beautiful, you know, white powder that we all know sugar. Our the food industry decided that it was fats, the ones that were causing cardiovascular disease. They got rid of it. And guess what? The flavor was gone, which actually are not the fats, never are the fats. They're really good fats. They got rid of the fats. So what is the flavor going to come from? From sugar.
Yeah.
So where is the sugar hiding? It's hiding in places that you will not even know. It's hiding. And it's so addictive that the best thing to do is to start lowering the amount slowly.
Yeah, it becomes a craving. Like the body literally looks for it. So
it is.
You've got to really fight that one.
Yeah, but instead of fighting it, start diluting it up to the point. Like me, if you give me a banana, I'm like, thank you, but no, thank you. They're too sweet for me. I cannot eat a banana.
Yeah, I don't take a banana either.
You know? And when you teach the kids from a very young age, they actually live it.
Yeah.
You know? They actually live it. They actually are able to actually change their parents.
Alicia, do you give alternate ways of consuming certain things? Like, for example, I can't stand yogurt. I wasn't given yogurt from a small child. So by the time I hit it at, I don't know, maybe teenage, I couldn't stand the flavor, the taste, nothing of it. But yet I drink it in smoothies. So I can drink it and I can cook with it, but I can't eat it like how you get the container.
So you don't have to.
Kids the alternate ways of consuming the things good for their body in a way they might enjoy?
Yes, I teach kids how to eat like the rainbow. I teach parents how to eat like the rainbow. But step number 1 is decreasing sugar. I was going to tell you a story, Jen. I teach a lot in Mexico. My programs are both bilingual, English and Spanish. So I was teaching my course with a family, and a 4-year-old who didn't know how to read or write, right? Sees his dad, a medical doctor, having Cheerios with milk before he goes to work. And he's eating really quickly because he's late. And the 4-year-old turns like, Dad, do you know how much sugar you're eating before you go to work? And the dad just went like, looked at his wife, like, we'll tell you later, right? The 4-year-old, that day, the dad changed his diet with his 4-year-old telling him what, why, and where is the sugar hiding? It was as simple as that. And that's why they're my heroes. Any kid 6 and younger are my heroes.
I love kids too. I love kids. That's my target market. It's kids and young adults.
So yogurt, if you don't like something, yogurt, there's alternatives to yogurt. Actually, yogurt is not the best thing in the planet either, but you really need to understand why. Where is the food coming from? When I moved to Canada, Jen, long time ago, 36 years ago, I came here and I was a size 7. In 3 months, I was a size 13.
Yes. Trust me, I know.
I was eating the same food.
My
but not the
family
same
immigrates from the West Indies, and every time they come, they're as skinny as a thing. And you say to them, you need to watch what you put in your mouth because you're going to gain weight. And they're like, I know, I've been this size my whole life. And the same thing happens.
It is crazy. And so this children obesity has to do with what we're putting in our food.
Yes.
It's the addiction of sugar, but it's also what else? You know, when I came to Canada, I'm like, oh wow, look at the cows out in the farms. They're like healthy. They're really chubby. They look healthy. And back then in Mexico, the cows were skinny, but they were eating outside. They were a lot healthier than the ones from here.
Oh my gosh, we shouldn't laugh, but it's so sad. It is so sad.
But when you are truly aware and conscious of how is the food created, where it's coming from, and what you put in your mouth, the whole story completely changes.
So let me ask you, what is your view on organic? Is it truly organic, or is it just a label to fool us again as well, like the cows?
Oh, that is the whole story. But, you know, it's supposed to be organic, but everything is so contaminated around it that the organic is just a label.
Right.
But you need to eat as clean as possible. I actually have a food tower in my house, which
I know about
nothing growing.
Yeah.
And that is organic. And we eat vegetables from there, you know, every single day. And I calculated $2 a day for 2 people eating vegetables a day. It's nothing. And I grow my food.
Well, here's the thing. What about some of the technology, the organic technology like hydroponics and some of these that are using, you know, the water with the fish and you know what I mean, and just making it this whole organic farming. What do you think about those as solutions to this type of?
Definitely we need to move into more organic. Definitely we need to move into a more sustainable way of farming, for sure. You know, it's going to take years. It's going to take years to clean up the environment. It's going to get years to remove GMOs if that ever happens. It's going to take years to clean up the environment, but the truth is we need to be aware that we need it needs to be sustainable. We need to grow our food sustainably, period. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, but the government doesn't allow, like they like, I know you're using the towers. I've looked at the towers. I bought one years ago. The towers are like $1,000 for a decent one.
Yeah.
And they're very expensive. So, and then the government doesn't want they don't want people to use their backyards to house chicken. And you know what I mean? You've got all these bylaws and all these restrictions. Yeah. How do we get to that? How do we get back to real? Because basically what you're telling me, I can't really trust what the government is saying we should be able to consume because they're not doing a good enough job. On behalf of their citizens. So how do we as a citizen get to where we need to be? Like you're growing your own.
I'm growing my own inside my house. It's not outside.
That's why I bought the tower as well.
It's too cold. It's too cold here to grow anything right now, right? So it's inside. I mean, we need to go back to truly growing our own food. It was crazy when you think about Second World War, where there was not enough food. People took their lawns out and started growing food. I
have arrived. It's funny you said that because I personally have arrived at that they need to start allowing people to do their own thing.
Eventually, and to be able to be sustainable, we need to use our own leftovers to create, you know, more like the soils are so lacking so much nutrients. We need to really regenerate our soils. We need to work on sustainability. We need to work on how do we create a sustainable garden and teach our kids how to do it. Because I don't believe that GMOs are the solution to world hunger. It is, and of course, climate change is not going to help you either, right? But if every family was conscious about sustainability and starting to grow their own food, and starting to be supportive of this ecosystem that is recycling. You know, stop buying things that come in a package. Stop buying plastics. Stop buying cans. You know, just do it at the cleaner way as possible. that's at least the first step we can do.
But I think it's hard for the average consumer. I really do.
It is hard.
It is hard
It's
for the average
time.
consumer to weed through all the supposed information that comes their way, to tell them do it this way or do it that way, ignore this, ignore that. It is really hard to process what is the source of truth for information related to getting to that level. I think many people buy into the organic living, but they don't understand that everything with the organic label isn't necessarily organic. And how do I get to that organic, holistic living that really feeds? And what I love about this conversation, because, on a regular basis, I talk about how do we change us, right? A lot of times my conversations are about the individual, a you conversation, I call it, about how do we look at ourselves and change the decisions we're making for the better. But what I love about this discussion is starting to also show that there's more to that whole piece. What you put in your mouth, how you nurture your body, how you move your body, how you, how do you decide what food goes on the table? There's so much more to it. And I think sometimes, the audience's brain, from all the information they're getting, they go, I don't know what, so I'm just grabbing McDonald's or whatever. How do we get them to where they need to be to make the true decisions for what they want for themselves and their families?
I would say be educated and start one step at a time. I know our time is coming to an end here. So anyway,
just more times, because I said I would regain some of the time that we had lost. Don't worry about that too much.
Educate yourself. Do the best you can, one step at a time. Educate your family and educate yourself on what would be more sustainable. Actually, it is cheaper to eat vegetables than to buy a box of cereal.
Yeah.
And even if they're organic, it's cheaper. And of course, it's a lot simpler than what you think. Make it simpler, make it fun, get the whole family involved into making food. It's not that hard, truly, Jen. Okay. It's not that hard.
So we'll be wrapping up. And Alicia, tell us tell us where you want the audience to find you. Is there anything you have that you want to talk to the audience about? I give you that moment for yourself. Plug away.
Sure. Well, you can find me on Facebook as Kids in Balance Wellness, or on Instagram at kids.inbalance. And there you're going to find a link to a gift called the Detective Game. And the Detective Game will take you to a free workshop to be able to start basically doing the first steps that you need to do in your kitchen. And that will take you, if you're interested, we have a program called Happy Healthy Kids Adventure, both in English and Spanish. That is for kids, all ages, really. We have stuff for preschoolers as well. And that will get you to the very first steps on getting educated about starting to make changes at home, one step at a time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And on that note, I'm going to do the rapid fire, and then we're going to close up. So I'm having all my guests do a rapid fire. And what that is I throw you a word, and you then come with what immediately comes to mind. Just, not a huge explanation, just what comes to mind. And then there's a word that is specific to you. Okay, so here we go. So the first word is I have a concept called Divintastical living. When you hear Divintastical, what comes to mind?
Vegetables.
Okay, mindset.
Joy.
Gratitude.
Loving.
Wowsy.
Have fun.
Yeah, life.
Love yourself.
Purpose.
Be thankful.
Feedback.
Sorry?
Feedback.
Enjoy.
And your specific word, sustainable.
We need to have a sustainable world. For sure. Sustainable. I love that.
Awesome. And on that note, we will close up another edition of A Rays of Living. And as I always say from my heart to you, thank you for listening. Thank you, Alicia, for being here. It was wonderful. Thank you for listening to this episode of A Rays of Living. And please be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You will also find in the description below my email address should you want to reach out, and I am happy if you do. And just to be sure, it's jen@youareworthmore.co, and worth more you definitely are. And lastly, also see the link that will allow you to schedule a meet and greet with me. And that's an opportunity for me to meet you and you to meet me, and for us to have a chat. And that would be wonderful and welcoming. So please hit the link and let's set up a meet and greet.